have a conversation today about personal development. It's important. It's important. Your money only grows to the degree that you do. Some of y'all want to make more money. Most of y'all probably want to have more money, right? Most of y'all do. So you got to grow. You got to personally develop. You got to push your life in the right direction by what? Changing who you are. Growth. The book is 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class by Steve Siebold. Again, these are the secrets, so to speak, of the world class, but they're not really secrets. They're not really secrets. There's just additional information. But here's what this says. It says the world class is committed to personal development. Committed to personal development. It says here, average performers wouldn't read a personal development book or listen to a personal development recording if you paid them. Only about 5% of the population study personal development, our exact estimate of the percentage of professional performers in this country. Interesting, isn't it? The masses seem to view personal development as motivational nonsense. Of course, most of these people are struggling to make ends meet. In contrast, many world-class people and those who aspire to world-class levels are believers in the personal development movement. You don't have to convince a champion to want to win. Personal development, by definition, is about discovering the unique talents and abilities and potentials that lie dormant within us. The great ones are always looking for that one little adjustment, strategy, distinction, or technique that will give them an edge over the competition. And that's exactly what personal development offers. As Bill Gove was famous for saying, all of us already have everything we need inside of us to make our lives work. Personal development is not about self-improvement. It's about self-discovery. It's about rediscovering what we already know. That's the journey of personal development, tapping into your God-given talents and abilities and letting those things come out, raising your identity to understand who you really are, what you really are put here for. Personal development, I would tell people, is growth or growing or tapping in any area that you want to improve, any area that you want to discover more, push yourself more in your health, in your finances, in your relationships, in your own personal, right? Like in your patience, in any of those things that you deal with. But you got to be committed to personal development. You have to commit to this growth. It doesn't just happen by chance. You have to literally say, I'm going to do this. What I tell you guys in the beginning, again, this has been my journey. I made a commitment right up front. I'm going to personally grow. Have really, really big goals and dreams, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really big goals and dreams. So that means I have to constantly become better. I have to constantly think on a higher level. I have to constantly raise my consciousness. And we do that through personal development. I'm gonna switch over to the video. The video is John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell, if you don't know who he is, one of the godfathers in leadership. And obviously, becoming a great leader, you have to personally develop. The only way for you to develop others, right? Because leaders develop other leaders. They don't just have a bunch of followers. They develop other leaders. Well, the only way to develop other leaders is if you develop yourself first. So this is going to be something you could take some notes on. John Maxwell giving the talk. He's going to give you some tips on what we can do to personally grow and personally develop and how to put this in place in your life. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
There's nothing easy in life, worthwhile in life. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap. It's always going to be difficult. So how do we go from growth doesn't just happen to making growth happen? Now, here's the practic, and you just don't want to miss this, because I'm going to give you some stuff right now. This is pure gold, okay? This is so good, I hardly want to give it to you. And the reason I hardly want to give it to you is because it's so good, I don't want you to misuse it. So look at the person you're sitting beside and just say, take notes and don't mess up. Just tell them that. Just take notes and don't mess up, okay? I'm going to give you an intentional growth plan right now. It's just so simple. Let's go. Okay, here's my intentional growth plan. Number one, make a commitment to intentionally grow. That's where it starts. You say, well, John, that seems really simple. Make a commitment to intentionally grow. Guess what? It's really simple. But can I tell you something? When Kurt Kampmeyer looked across that breakfast table and told me that if I was going to grow, I was going to have to grow on purpose. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going to start growing on purpose. Something happened within me. Something happened within me that just changed my life. It was just a simple commitment. Nothing that I thought at that time was going to change my life, but it was just a simple commitment. I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow intentionally. And it starts there. I want every one of you, I want every one of you, for yourself, for the people that you lead, make that commitment to intentionally grow. Number 2, make that commitment public. A commitment that is not public is worthless. Because let me tell you something. We all have a tendency to stray. We all have a tendency to give up. We all have a tendency to get off course. Come on. But the moment that we start making it public, I can remember I couldn't afford that kit that I showed you. And I said, can you give me 30 minutes? And I lived where we were having our breakfast was close to the house. I said, I've got to show this. I got to take this and show it to Margaret. And I said, I ran home and I got to the kitchen table and I said, we can't afford this. It's $799 and we can't afford it. And so I've got to take it right back. But I just want to show you what we're going to save our money for. And we got it all out and got those cassettes out and we looked at the material real quickly and I put it back in the box and I went back there. But then I told my friends, I began telling my friends, guess what? I've made a commitment to personally grow. There's something beautiful about a shared commitment. A shared commitment becomes a strong commitment. Number 3. Identify the areas that you want to grow personally in. Identify them. In other words, sit down and say, okay, where am I going to grow specifically? Now, I'm going to help you here. When you start identifying the areas that you're going to grow in, it should be at least 2 and no more than 5. 5's probably a little heavy. But it has to be at least 2. You say, well, how about just focusing on 1? Let me tell you why. You want to grow in an area of choice and you want to grow in an area of skill. So that's 2. So when I'm talking about an area of choice, I'm talking about maybe your attitude. That's a choice, isn't it? So I want to grow in an area of choice. Maybe it's discipline. And I want to grow in an area of skill. So for me, I started off with attitude and speaking because I was speaking. I was a pastor. I want to be a better communicator. So I said, okay, speaking, that's a skill. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on my attitude. So identify what are the 2 areas at least that you're going to grow in. And then number 4, invest 1 hour a day in those 2 areas. Every day, including Sundays. Every day, 7 days, 7/24, 7. Every day. Okay. And when you spend that hour, I'm going to even tell you how to spend the hour. You spend the hour this way. Here's the way it works. Preparation, practice, reflection. Preparation, practice, reflection. Preparation, practice, reflection. Preparation, practice, reflection. You do it every day. Whether it's your choice or whether it's your skill. You prepare a little bit, practice a little bit, reflect a little bit. Every day. You're going to find this is just huge for your life. Now, while I was doing all of that preparation, practice, reflection, while I was doing all that on my speaking, I was starting to go observe communicators. And when I would listen to somebody speak, I wouldn't listen too much about what the subject was. It really didn't matter. I was asking myself one question the whole time I would listen to them speak, and the question was, are they connecting with their audience? And I would write down, if they were not connecting, why they were not, and if they were connecting, why they were. In about 2 years, I became a master in understanding how to connect with an audience. Because I studied it, and I would listen, and I would watch, and I would observe, and I would come away and say, they did 3 things that were just powerful. Okay, I got to go practice that. Okay, prepare, practice, reflect. And I would just work on that. And this is the cycle that I worked, okay? Number 5, invest 1 hour a week on reflection and writing on what you're learning. To take an hour every week and say, okay, for the last 7 days, this is what I've been practicing, this is what I've been preparing for, this is what I've been reflecting, and start that. Now let me tell you the secret on this. Now, because I'm kind of now talking about writing, I'm talking about maybe journaling a little bit. Let me tell you something. Don't try to journal a lot. Start with jotting. Jot before you journal. See, I jot every day. I don't journal every day, but I jot every day. 4 or 5 words. Oh my gosh, they're just mental kicks for me, okay? And then at the end of the week, you may have like 12 jots down. You with me? And you go get those jots, and you say, okay, now I'm going to spend 35 minutes. I'm going to start writing. What did that mean to me? Just jot and then journal. And then number 7, this is huge. No, I'm sorry. And then number 6, share your growth with someone. Every week, find somebody that you can share your growth with. And let me tell you how this works. You sit down with them, I want to tell you what I'm learning, I want to tell you how I'm growing. Now, here's how this works. This is beautiful. When you share your growth with someone, if they're happy, do it the next week. You with me? Oh, okay, well, let me share. Can I share with you now? See, so if they're happy, keep sharing. If they're not happy, start moving. Don't ever spend time with people that aren't thrilled with your progress. The friends I dropped in my early years, were those people that weren't thrilled with my progress. Are you with me? They weren't thrilled at all with my progress. Those are the ones I left behind. I got some new friends. That's what you got to do. Because let me tell you something. If you become intentional in your growth, you'll outgrow almost everybody you know. Everything I have today is because I have good people around me. Everything. You want to talk about any area of my success in my life, and what I'll do immediately is I'll give you the names of people. The names of people who are gifted better than I am, who complete me, who complement me, who add value to me, who make a difference for me, and they do it with such consistency, they do it with such care, they do it with such kindness, they do it with such love, and they just do it, and they do it all the time, and it's humbling to me. It's humbling to me. I mean, this is a perfect example. When I walked out to teach you today, this is the first time I was here to teach. I mean, I did nothing. I didn't set up any cameras. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any email. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any. They just said, John, could you get ready to teach the 15 laws? So I've been over there writing and teaching the 15, working on it, upgrading, doing everything else. But everything that you're enjoying today, outside of this teaching, everything has been done by others. And I can tell you right now, when I die, they can put on my tombstone, a whole bunch of people made that man. Because they have. And I'm grateful.
There's some John C. Maxwell for you this morning. It's like class, right? Where I wrote a note to myself that says, we might have to teach people how to learn. Because sometimes we don't know how to learn. When's last time we learned something when we were in school? And they taught us how to think about it. And now we're out on this journey ourselves of personal growth, personal development, designing the life we want. And we have to learn some things. We actually have to unlearn some things and relearn some things. And maybe we don't actually know how we learn. Do you know how you learn? Are you a visual learner? Do you like sitting down? Do you spend time with yourself? Do you read? Do you consume? Do you have to take notes? Do you highlight? Do you have to hear it over and over again? Is it visual? Like, do you know how you actually learn something? Because in here, when we're talking about personal growth, and I'm going to go back through those 6 points that John Maxwell just talked about, this is you applying this stuff to your life as if this is school for you. We got to be intentional about it. And so we have to learn how to learn, maybe. But these things that he talked about in personal development, he gave you a plan of exactly what to do, an action plan of exactly what to do to actually implement your personal growth, personal development. Number 1, John Maxwell said, make the commitment to grow. What did we just read in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, right? World class is committed to personal growth. So you got to make the commitment first and foremost. Everything starts with a commitment. Everything starts with you saying, I'm going to do something. You make a commitment in your relationship. You make a commitment in your health. You make a commitment in your finances, whatever it is, you make a commitment to it first and foremost. Once you've made that commitment, now the process starts. If you're wavering on the commitment, you have no shot. If you're like, I'll test it out, I'll try it out, I'll see, maybe this works, I'm not sure, I'll give it a couple days, I'll give it a week, you didn't make a commitment. So first step, make the commitment. Number two, he says, make the commitment public. So you got to tell people that you made a commitment to do something, made a commitment to personal growth, made a commitment to work on your finances. You made a commitment. You have to tell someone. And this part can be scary. This part is, you have to be a bit vulnerable. This part is accountability. We hate accountability. People hate accountability. They hate to be told what to do. And then when they don't do it, told about themselves why they didn't do it. All right. Hopefully you have someone in your life. Dana's on the screen because she knows I hold her accountable, right? The blessing of being in business with me is we hold you accountable. You might not like it all the time. It might not always be the right, but we're here to help you grow. So somebody's got to hold you accountable. Your friends typically don't hold you accountable because you bring them the bad news. They're understanding. It's okay. It's going to be all right. Oh, it's just another day. Not here, right? We're holding you accountable. You said you was going to do something. Why you do it? I don't care what's happening in your life. I know some of y'all like that might be too much, right? But I don't care what's happening in your life. We all have stuff going on in our life. You told me you were going to do this and you didn't. To hold you accountable. So you got to make that commitment public. Whatever commitment you're making, make it public. Share it with people so they can hold you accountable. Share with people that are probably growing with you alongside of you so that they can hold you accountable. But you got to make that commitment public. Number three, John Maxwell says, identify the areas of growth. I learned something from this one. This was good. He said, pick 2 to 5 things, no less than 2, no more than 5. And he said, a choice and a skill. Until he put language to that, I didn't realize that's what I was doing. The skill was my business. I was working on the business all the time. I was working on sales and marketing and learning in insurance and investments and all those things. I'm learning a skill set that other people don't have. And at the same time, I'm working on my mind. I'm working on my discipline. I'm working on my consistency. I'm working on my patience. I'm working on my faith life. Like I'm working on both of these sides. He put language to that you should have a choice and a skill that you're working on. That's exactly what I was doing. So same thing for y'all. What's the choice thing that you're working on? Is it discipline, like you said? Is it patience? Is it, whatever those things are that you have your control and attitude, a choice. And then the skill. And I think this is where some of us might drop the ball because we might not have a skill that we're actually getting better in, like a tangible skill. Some of you want to go off and be entrepreneurs. Some of you want to go off and build and design the life. Normally, when I talk about designing the life that you want, you're going to have a way to make your own income. Very rare. And again, no knock on jobs, right? We all have to start somewhere, but like most people that have jobs don't live the life that they want, like that they deserve. Like they don't do that. So you're going to have to find a way to create your own income. So there's a skill there that you're going to have to learn. So if you're now personally developing by growing your choices, right? Who you are, and then you're also growing a skill set. John Maxwell said he started listening to communicators. The skill set was a communication skill set that he was growing. So that's why he got around people that were communicating so he could learn that skill. For some of you, it might be communication. That might be a skill that you need to learn. Maybe you need to go to some more seminars. Maybe you need to go listen to more people talk. Maybe you need to join Toastmasters. Maybe you need to start reading books on communication, how to be a great communicator. Like that's a skill. Maybe it's a technical skill. Maybe you want to code. Maybe you want to get into AI. Maybe you want to get into robotics. Like who knows? But like skill and choice, both of those things you need to be growing in. That was really good from Maxwell. Number 4, he said, invest 1 hour a day in preparation, practice, and reflection. Preparation, practice, and reflection. So preparing for that skill, right? Practicing that skill, reflecting on what you did right, what you didn't do right, how you got to improve the next day. Same thing in that choice. All right, prepare for discipline. How do you prepare for it? Get on the morning mindset call. Get your mind right in the morning. Prepare yourself. Then practice it. The next time that coworker says something to you and you're ready to say the thing, all right, this is my practice. Let me practice holding my tongue. Let me practice the discipline. Let me practice the humility. Let me practice whatever that is. And then afterwards, reflect. How'd I do? If you didn't do too well that day, all right, let's practice the next day. But that's the process. So invest 1 hour a day in preparation, practice, and reflection. Model that skill over and over again. Number 5, he said, then take 1 hour a week on reflecting on what you've been learning. This is a big part. Take 1 hour a week to reflect on how'd you do last week? How'd I learn? Like what situations did I put myself in that allowed me to learn something new? And he talked about, jotting that down. Some of us talk about journaling and writing those things down. He just talked about jotting it down and then coming back around to it and having that conversation with yourself to be like, hey, what have I been doing this week? What has been working for me? What hasn't been working? How do I need to improve this week? And then number 6, he said, share your growth with someone. And again, you want them to be supportive of your growth. You don't want to keep talking to the same people that aren't growing, because then they'll get resentful from your growth, right? They'll get resentful of your growth. They'll not want you to grow. They're not going to be happy for you to grow, because here's the thing about growth, ladies and gentlemen, from somebody that's been growing, right? And going through this process. People think when you start growing that you change or that you're different, but at the end of the day, you're not different. You're just you're vibrating at a higher level. So they can't connect with you. And whenever you change in front of somebody that you actually know or they know you, right? It's going to cause them to look in the mirror and say, well, why am I not changing? And then they just kind of project that onto you as if it's your problem, if it's you're the person that's changing, right? But at the end of the day, you can't share that information with people that aren't happy for you, that aren't willing to help you continue to progress and cheerlead you and clap for you. And I just tell you, if you have somebody that's not growing, they're not going to clap for you for very long. They're not going to clap for you for very long. There's a saying, I heard somebody say this, that America loves 5s, meaning like average people. We love 5s, not 10s, not 1s. America loves 5s. When you're at a 1, people will clap for you all the way up. Keep going. Keep rocking in your business. You do it. Oh, you're so successful. Keep doing your thing. Keep going. Then you get to average and they're like, okay, you're really doing it. Now you're at a 7, you're at an 8, you've elevated. Now they're like, he's arrogant. He's scammer. He's doing this. And they want to pull you back down to being a 5. Because once you get right over that hump, they're not clapping for you anymore. They ain't clapping for you. It's the way this works. So just know you want to constantly be around people that are moving in that direction, because we're going to keep clapping for you. I'm going to keep clapping for you. The people around us, we're going to keep clapping for you. No matter if you're a 5, you're a 7, you're a 10, you're a 2, we're going to keep clapping. And that's the people that you need to be around in order for you to really take your personal development journey to the next level. Those are all of them. Thank you, Diane, for dropping them in the chat. This is for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is for you. We got to grow. In order for you to get to the life that you want, to design the life you want, you have to become better. You have to think differently about things so that you can then do different things so that we can take our lives where we want them to be, guys. I love y'all. I want y'all to win. You deserve it. Today was class, right? Today was class. You took some notes. Now go apply these. Make the commitment today to grow. Tell someone, make it public. Then identify the areas you need to grow, and let's start this process, guys. I love y'all. I want y'all to win. See you guys on Friday. We'll jump back in for another morning mindset call. Take care. Enjoy your Wednesday. No such thing as hump day.